What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with a quick preview, highlighting the word quick, for TNA Against All Odds 2025, going down this Friday, the beginning of a very, very, very jacked weekend for wrestling once again. We get one jacked weekend, we get one weekend off. At least we don't have any interference from the Mud Show. Let's quickly carry on. Yes, it's getting warm. I'm getting irritable. I'm also very tired, and I also don't have a co-host, so shout out to my buddy Jake. We will be back tomorrow to have some more in-depth discussion about Worlds Collide and about Money in the Bank, which right now only has 4 matches on it. Now, this is going on the Friday. It's coming to us from Tempe, Arizona. Somebody tell me down in the box below if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And what I love about it is it's coming from a place that I've never heard of before called the Mullet Center. And that is amusing to me because I am a child. All the typical caveats get attached to this. This is a TNA B show, and if you've been following me long enough, following me and Jake long enough, you know, we don't mean that in a derogatory way, only in a we kind of know what we're expecting kind of way. It's also going at a special time. I think it has something to do with the time zones. I'm not going to pretend that I know for sure, but it's not going on until 10 o'clock Friday night, which means it's competing with the last hour of SmackDown, which is only interesting because SmackDown's the go-home show for Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank, but also heavily, heavily rumored that not only Jordynne Grace, but potentially Ricky Saints as well are debuting on SmackDown this Friday. If you want my quick thoughts on that, Jordynne Grace coming to SmackDown, awesome. Jordynne Grace versus Charlotte somewhere along the way, awesome. Ricky Saints I could deal with a little bit more on NXT, if I'm completely honest with you. And there's some stuff as far as the Ricky Saints, Ethan Page stuff from a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to get into tomorrow night with Jake that might surprise you, because I think WWE and NXT made a little bit of a mistake, but it's okay because we're still getting some awesome, awesome, cool shit, and we're getting some good lucha things on Saturday afternoon, are we not? Free on YouTube, because WWE are the good guy company, not the other guys that bitch about competition and all their talent wanting to leave. Welcome to the party, Mariah May, by the way. Now, filming this on Wednesday, so not only am I going to be digesting probably 4 hours of AEW, why? I guess I hate myself, but also we are ahead of the go-home episode of Impact, which is probably going to add another 25 matches to the card. Why the heck not? But right now we only have 6 matches. So Steve Maclin versus Mance Warner. I'm hoping that this is a foregone conclusion exhibition for Steve Maclin, still the international champion. Still a gorgeous looking belt. I like Steph DeLander more than I like the guy that she's managing. I saw them in person, and she radiates star, and I'm sorry for the Mance Warner fans out there. He doesn't to me. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and he's not a bad wrestler. I just don't care. And he's faced some people that I really, really do get a kick out of. Most recently, Sami Callihan would have been the prime example. But it's one of those, how do you face all these people that I like and I still don't care? Like, Steve Maclin was a guy, to be totally fair, Steve Maclin was a guy that I thought was really, really playing for a while. Solid, great, like, bell to bell, awesome, a little bit biased. He was the Destiny champion for a little bit. It's fine. Also, if you're in the Greater Toronto area, see if you can get yourself tickets to Destiny Summer Heat. We're getting Leon Slater versus Casey Navarro on that show for the Destiny New Era Championship. Casey Navarro, who along with AJ Francis showed up on NXT last night. It's all coming together. What comes around is all around, as Big Nick would say over on Wrestling for Life. Shout out to those guys as well. Go to them for all your cool watch-along needs, as well as Ringsider Anthony from their crew, who is the resident TNA guy of the IWC/WFU. Steve Maclin gets an easy win here, guys. I'm sorry, unless Mance Warner pulls some bullshit. I do, in a weird way, I do want to give them a little bit of credit here, because Mance Warner, Steph DeLander stole the Digital Media Championship in kayfabe from PCO after PCO very literally left TNA, and Steph DeLander did this weird thing where they were married and she got the title in the divorce, and then they were the co-champion. They were stripped of that title. The International Championship was made, and eventually the champion was Steve Maclin. So I guess Mance Warner and Steph DeLander looking at this as them getting their title back in a certain it's not really true, but I can believe it from a heel point of view. There is something clever in that. I just wish I cared. I really just wish I cared. And Steve Macklin, as I've said for months now, playing the Marvel's Punisher of pro wrestling is still cool. Joe Hendry, I don't know what we're doing here, because it's Joe Hendry versus Frankie Kazarian. And Frankie Kazarian exists to be an opponent. Oh, I don't know how to say this either. Frankie Kazarian exists right now to be an opponent for other people in the world title picture, while I'm very, very quickly losing faith that he will ever be the world champion. It's a hell of a knockdown, the card. I really hope they play up more and more and more. We saw Nick Nemeth actually interviewed by Andrew Pollard of What Culture, and unlike other people at What Culture, I really, really respect Andrew Pollard, and he's a great interviewer, so go check that out. Playing up the kayfabe of Joe Hendry is a fucking asshole. He's the one that lost our title. Somebody in another company holds our title now because of Joe Hendry. I really want them to play that up, and Frankie Kazarian is the kind of dickhead that can really, really play that up, but I really hope that comes back at some point. Even though the Nemeths tonight have a different match on their hands, I really hope that comes down to a... Even though Nick Nemeth is being a heel, he can still be the guy that plays the role in Joe Hendry's life to verbalize what Joe Hendry's feeling. He lost the title on behalf of TNA. I had heard, honestly, that he had dropped the title to Trick and they worked out this thing with TNA and NXT because Joe Hendry was going away to get some injuries dealt with. But I guess maybe that's after this. Maybe they write him off in this match. I mean, Joe Hendry's winning. Why is my phone going off? Why is that a thing? That doesn't need to be a thing, does it? I want to say Joe Hendry wins this because Frankie Kazarian can't catch a win to save his life, unfortunately. But if he's going to be written off and the injury stuff is true, then maybe Frankie Kazarian does something dastardly. Maybe Frankie Kazarian is in it with the Nemeths and a couple other dickhead heels and whatnot, and maybe you get Mike Santana, who attempted to bring the title back on NXT this week. We'll talk about that in a second. And maybe there's a coalition of like bad guys that want to win the title back to TNA's side for the sake of giving themselves a stripe, versus good guys that want to go to NXT and get the title back for the sake of the company. And then you kind of like show AEW what a good fight for the soul of the company looks like. I mean, I'm just saying. Gonna go with easy win for Joe Hendry unless they're writing him off for injury, because I don't know whether that part is true or not. I don't really know what to say. Santino Marella versus Robert Stone is going to be the most fun fucking match we have this weekend. And I'm saying that as a huge NXT mark, as a huge WWE mark, as somebody that's very, very curious about all this AAA stuff. I want to see the Crazy Clown and Mr. Iguana and all the fucked up shit. And I want to see Flippy Dippy Doodahs done properly on Saturday afternoon. But the most fun we're going to have is Santino Marella versus Robert Stone. If Robert Stone comes out as Robbie E for the night, I will pop. Santino Marella is going to win. This whole shtick of, even though Robert Stone is a NXT talent, he's there to oversee Santino Marella as the Director of Authority, never really made sense. It was a way to introduce Alicia Fox, aka Victoria Crawford. It was a way to explain why Robert Stone was managing Tessa Blanchard for a while. It got Ariana Grace on TV, and I got to see them here live at the CAA Center in Brampton. I got to see Ariana Grace in a match, and she looked better. She did a Cora Jade. She looked way better in TNA than she did in NXT. So I don't know what that says about her. But she'll be in her dad's corner. Robert Stone will probably have Victoria Crawford or Tessa Blanchard, or both of them, because Tessa Blanchard will go out there and wind up the crowd because people are still upset that she has a job because they're strange. Santino Marella is going to win. Santino Marella is going to get the feel-good win, and Robert Stone is going to be made to look like a dick because, and I say this in every positive way possible, Robert Stone, Robbie E., whatever you want to call him, is really good at looking like the goofball heel getting his comeuppance. I think it's a skill and a place that needs to be filled in wrestling that not everybody can pull off. Another one that does it really, really well, and I think sort of the poster child for this particular role in wrestling, is The Miz. Now, Rumors being that The Miz might be the next one to leave WWE after Sarah Logan, R-Truth, Carlito, and there's somebody I'm forgetting because I'm a terrible person. Oh yeah, Abaddon got her walking papers from AEW. We talked about that in the last pod, did we not? I'm not going to touch on the releases a lot. Anything that needs to be said about the releases has already been said. Sucks for Truth. I think it's really, really bizarre that we went from the heartfelt outpouring of sympathy and outrage for R-Truth to, well, Sarah Logan doesn't believe everything that I believe, so it's good that she got fired. I got a neck injury from that kind of Twitter whiplash. Moving swiftly on from one to the next. Masha Slamovich defending against I can speak, I swear. Lei Ying Lee. Sorry. After the last match that she had when she fought Victoria Crawford, which was weird. I was there live for it. It was fun to be there live, but, you know. She tried to offer a title shot to Lei Ying Lee, where Robert Stone came in and said, no, that's not what we do here. We don't just hand out title shots like he just did to Victoria Crawford. Ha ha ha. Lei Ying Lee has earned the opportunity. This is going to be a hell of a showcase for her. Masha Slamovich is not dropping that title. I think Lei Ying Lee is awesome. I think she's going to make Masha Slamovich, who's already awesome, step up even more, and she's going to get a hell of a showcase for herself as well. But Masha Slamovich picked up that torch directly from Jordynne Grace, who picked up that torch directly from Deonna Purrazzo. They don't throw that torch around, and she's awesome. I don't just want this to be the default for everything, but Masha Slamovich really is one of those ones that I want to see cross over and have some fun. Masha Slamovich versus Zarya would be a lot of fun, but Masha Slamovich is another one that I'd like to see go up against Ripley, maybe. Masha Slamovich versus Stephanie Vacour would be a lot of fun. And as I say, I don't know what Killer Kelly's doing. I know she was off because she was off baby making and whatnot and building a family. And awesome for her, by the way, not casting any dispersions. But if she's coming back and if we see her again and if her and Masha get back together and if we get MK Ultra, put them on the road to the tag team titles. Because right now that tag team division has one tag team in it. It's not great. But yeah, Masha Slamovich is awesome. It'll be fun. It'll be a hard-hitting match. I'm pretty sure they're going to slap 10 bells out of each other. Okay. The Nemeths, and this is where I say the divided attention of Nick Nemeth might come back to bite him in the ass if he really is starting to focus on something with Joe Hendry. Maybe it costs him this match, but I doubt it, even though my boys, the Rascals, Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, who I think is pretty solidly trying to pull Priscilla Kelly into TNA, which would be awesome. Shout out to Priscilla Kelly, because she put some stuff out there a little while ago about people really, really giving her a hard time after her release and just being disgusting individuals. Don't do it. Don't be a dickhead. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. The Rascals versus the Nemeth is going to be a lot of fun because 3 out of 4 people in this match are really good. Ryan Nemeth can fuck off. I say that with a smile on my face because I know his whole character is supposed to make me tell him to fuck off. But yeah, he can fuck off. I would rather see Trey Miguel versus Nick Nemeth. I would rather see Zachary Wentz versus Nick Nemeth. I don't think that I think this tag team title run is a gift to his little brother because I don't think this tag team title run is doing much for Nick Nemeth at all. I know there was some fuckery because we couldn't get Jeff Hardy up here in Canada, so you had like Hardy Boys with a sub with Leon Slater. Leon Slater is taking on Casey Navarro at Summer Heat. If you're in the area, come to Destiny Summer Heat. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, Rascals grab the titles. Feel good moment. Maybe they save it for something bigger like Slammiversary. But I hope that the Nemeths fall out, the Rascals pick up the titles because they're fucking awesome, and Nick Nemeth finds himself another direction, or maybe he gets into it with somebody from NXT. Maybe like Nick Nemeth, technically Dolph Ziggler, former NXT champion, so he's another one rife for some crossover if they want to do some crossover. I don't know who they would do it with though, so there's that. You could do something really fun with a Nick Nemeth, Javon Evans match. Throwing that out there. But Main event, and as I say, I'm not trying to sound unexcited about this show, but it really is some foregone conclusion stuff. I'm pretty sure there will be some run-ins. I'm pretty sure there will be some chicanery, but Trick Williams is beating Elijah. It's just going to happen. Elijah showed up for the match with Santana on NXT last night. There was some fuckery with the guitar, and then it was revealed that Trick Williams has some backup in First Class, in I was about to say Top Dollar, in AJ Francis and KC Navarro. And if they're going to be a little faction that exists over this NXTNA border crossing here, that's really cool. They did it with the Rascals. Now, I get it was different with the Rascals, because the Rascals was a pre-existing group. But Trick Williams leading First Class and them falling out as he loses the title whenever that happens is fine. I mean, AJ Francis is a dickhead. People don't like him, whatever the case may be. They still do the flop dollar thing because they don't realize a couple of years have passed since that. But, I mean, he's a good dickhead heel. He's a good guy in real life. I'd love to see him versus Trick Williams before Trick Williams fucks off after he loses the title eventually. I have a theory about the Trick Williams TNA title and how it's going to end and how I would like it to end, and people are going to think I'm crazy. Tune in tomorrow night for that. But yeah, we're going to see Trick Williams and his new friends versus Elijah. Maybe Joe Hendry gets involved. Maybe Mike actually, you know what? That's what it's going to be, isn't it? It's going to be a 3-on-3. It's going to be Trick and First Class taking on Elijah, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana at some point. Maybe it's Slammiversary. Maybe the title's not even on the line. This has been a very quick preview because I haven't seen the matches that have been added last minute, because the show that's going to add them last minute hasn't happened yet. 6 matches, though, if they keep it to this 6 matches, especially because it's going to be going on later in the evening, I wouldn't mind this being the full card, honestly. Going to be a lot of fun. Very, very, very predictable, but that is what it is. Whole lot more for us to talk about. I'm going to be back here with Jake tomorrow talking about Worlds Collide, talking about Money in the Bank. But let me know, are you watching Against All Odds? What are your predictions for Against All Odds? Are you predicting any surprises at Against All Odds? But until then, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.